Chapter 1. Sterling. My first mistake on day one in my new office building was thinking I could wing it at a coffee shop called Coffee Theory. After years of no-nonsense New York coffee runs, I should have known my first morning back in Atlanta would hit different. I'd walked into the bright ground floor space just as sunrise was starting to stream through the floor-to-ceiling windows, hoping to grab a quick coffee before heading up to my temporary office. Instead, I found myself squinting at an elaborate menu board while the morning crowd shuffled impatiently behind me. "Sir," the barista said for the third time, "what size would you like? We offer precise, proper, or plentiful." Medium? Which is that? That would be proper. So your small is called precise and medium is proper? And large is plentiful. Do I have that right? My barista, Joya, according to her name tag, wore her locks in an impressive updo dotted with copper beads that matched the cafe's fixtures. Her layered necklaces were made of the same beaded material and made pleasant sounds as she gestured to the menu board where elaborate botanical illustrations described each drink. "The theory here," she explained, "is that coffee consumption should be intentional, exactly what you need and no more. Each size is calibrated for the optimal ratio of espresso to milk to flavoring. Precise is perfect for a straight shot or a concentrated flavor experience. Proper balances all elements evenly, and plentiful gives you more of the complementary ingredients without overwhelming the flavor of the brew itself." The brew? She smiled. "The brew, served in varying strengths and flavor profiles. The house blend is a medium roast with notes of dark chocolate and blackberry. I personally think the Ethiopian single origin is the way to go if you drink it black." "Okay. And," I smirked, "why is that?" "Well, the flavor profile is complex. Joya." A sharp voice cut through our coffee education moment. "Come on. I have things to do." I turned to address the woman having a tantrum behind me, and damn. She was striking. Smooth, deep brown skin with elegant angles to her face and full lips pressed into an impatient line. Everything about her was exacting, from the twist out falling past her shoulders to the thick dark-rimmed glasses perched on her nose. The tailored blazer and pencil skirt she wore emphasized her curves in all the right places. "Maybe you can practice your pickup lines after the morning rush," she said, stepping up to the counter. "The rest of us would like to order coffee so we can get to work." I laughed, which appeared to piss her off more. Raising both hands in apology, I attempted to smooth things over. My first day in the building was not going well. I was actually just trying to get the lay of the land so I could order coffee. Good job going hard for the helpless barista forced to answer my questions about the coffee she serves, though. Her jaw tightened, and I caught a flash behind her eyes just before it dissipated. She shifted her weight, designer laptop bag sliding against her hip. The movement drew my eye to the point where her waist narrowed, creating a sexy cola bottle shape. She was definitely a sight for sore eyes. I guess I'd been staring a beat too long. She sent me a glare that I read as, "Eyes up here, asshole." "Either you're new here," she said, meting out her words slowly, "or new to ordering coffee at a cafe in the morning. But this is a busy time of day. If you wouldn't mind stepping aside, we'd all be most grateful. You can pick up the flirting right where you left off." I forced myself to turn back to Joya before I got into real trouble. "Let me try that Ethiopian blend you suggested. Proper, since..." I glanced back at the most beautiful, dark brown eyes I'd seen in a long time. I'm holding up the line. Also, my apologies if I was offensive. I tapped my credit card at the mobile pay station, then stepped aside to wait for my drink. Joya was already reaching for a cup as the woman stepped to the counter. "The usual, Opal? Please. And I'm sorry about..." She glanced my way, lowering her voice, but I caught the gesture at me and Joya's laugh in response. "You're always ruining my fun. I was having a good time." I know how you like to nerd out over coffee. You would have held us all hostage while you explained every detail of the menu. She ended up waiting for her drink a few feet away from me, head bowed over her phone in her hand. The urge to poke at her was too strong to resist. So, what's your usual? I asked, making it obvious I was speaking to her. She asked if you wanted your usual. You're clearly a regular, and I'm still learning. Her fingers paused on her screen for just a second. I watched her debate whether to ignore me entirely, but in the end she bit out a quick reply. Precise Americano, extra hot, half a pump of hazelnut, and a splash of half and half. Ah. Kinda takes longer to order it than to make it. If it's your usual, it must hit like coffee nirvana. That got me a flicker of attention, even if she didn't look up from her phone. It's efficient. Efficient, I repeated, testing the word. You speak like a person who has their whole day planned down to the minute. Now she did look at me, which I counted as a win, even if her expression suggested I was being graded and coming up short. There was something in her eyes, though, a glint she couldn't quite hide behind the cool assessment. Are you always this chatty with strangers? Actually, yes, especially when I'm learning the local customs, like not flirting with the baristas, apparently. I'm usually smoother than that. Her lips twitched. Almost a smile. Almost. Everything's custom here, but Joya's a pro, so you need to know what you want, order it, then step aside. I should probably take notes then, since I'll be in here often. What other coffee theory etiquette should I know about? Here you go, Opal, Joya called out, setting a cup on the counter. I'll have yours right up, sir. It's brewing. She stepped forward to claim her coffee, then paused. Don't hold up the line with 20 questions. Get that roll down first. I watched her head for the door, appreciating how the fit of her skirt was perfect for her stride. The whole package was something else, beautiful, sharp-tongued, and clearly used to keeping people at a distance. That kind of woman made a man want to work for her attention. Proper Ethiopian, Joya said, sliding my cup across the counter. I didn't catch your name, but I did hear you tell Opal you'll be here often. Sterling, I said, picking up my order. I'm moving in on 32, but it's under renovation, so they've got me in a co-working space in the interim. You will definitely be seeing me. Joya beamed a warm, welcoming smile. Well, welcome to the Avian. Community is pretty great here. I look forward to learning your usual order. Oh, and don't mind Opal. You'll have to get to know her. I sipped my coffee, pausing to give Joya an appreciative eyebrow raise at the smooth, rich flavor, and used the other hand to sling my laptop bag over my shoulder. Noted. Something tells me getting to know Opal is the trick. The Avian was one of those Atlanta high-rise buildings that tried to have it all. Old money prestige with new money amenities. The corporate offices that leased permanent space took up the top floors, while the bottom floors were leased as co-working spaces to attract the city's growing freelance crowd. Coffee Theory occupied prime real estate on the ground floor, the copper fixtures and upholstered leather chairs striking a balance between luxury and approachability. My brother, Cedric, had stumbled onto the Avian while scouting temporary office space for me in the months before I relocated to Atlanta. He had a knack for spotting hidden opportunities, and he had never steered me wrong. I flashed my keycard and stepped onto the elevator, then got off on 23. Half of the floor was dedicated to open workspace, ranging from hot desks to dedicated pods. The other half housed private offices and conference rooms. My workspace was an impersonal monthly rental. Not quite the corner suite waiting for me on 32 once renovations finished, but it was comfortable enough for now. The building formed a U-shape, giving me a clear view of at least 4 floors across an attractive courtyard. Movement caught my eye, and I saw her, Opal, settling into a chair and pulling up to a desk. I barely settled in myself when my phone buzzed in my pocket. I dug it out, swiping Cedric's name and professional realtor headshot away with my thumb. I hope I'm interrupting your beauty sleep, he said by way of greeting. Can't be better looking than me. Funny. I'm already at the office. I took another sip of coffee. The shop in this building is, quirky is a good word for it. The coffee's good, though. Yeah, they take themselves pretty seriously. I heard the shuffling of papers in the background. First, I just checked the voicemail and we got a message from the contractor working on your office. They're saying another 3 weeks on the build-out. 3 weeks? I leaned back in my chair, watching Opal pace the length of the window with her phone plastered to her ear. What happened to 2? Supply chain issues, apparently. What are you gonna do? Cedric had handled all the real estate arrangements when I decided to relocate from New York to Atlanta. I had more money than time, and Cedric understood the assignment. On the bright side, he added, I might have found you a condo. It's a newer build in Midtown, walking distance to the office. Way better than that corporate apartment you're in. The apartment is fine. The apartment is temporary. I'm trying to get you into something that'll tie you to Atlanta. It's time to start putting down some roots, little brother. I just got here. Ma's already sending me all the houses for sale around the neighborhood, in case you want to go ahead and buy a house. I don't know if I'm in for a 4-bedroom home in Stone Mountain, Georgia, minutes from my mother. Traffic will make me want to do unspeakable things. At the same time, I'm not looking for a slick new place in Midtown. The rent in town is ridiculous. I need something nice, affordable, not downtown. I don't mind driving, but I don't want to be on the road all morning. Can you expand your search to those parameters? He sighed. I felt his eyes rolling. Fine. Just know Pop is all about Sunday dinners. You don't want to be too far from the folks. He's not going to hear nothing about how far you are from them. I smiled despite myself. Moving back to Atlanta hadn't been in my original plan, but the shakeup at my former firm had shifted things. Lower cost of living, built-in network, family nearby. It made sense to base my new consulting firm in my hometown instead of trying to compete in the New York market. Let's grab dinner tonight, Cedric suggested. I can show you the specs for this condo you're turning down. I bet I can talk you into it. I told you what I'm looking for, Cedric. What you need to show me is condos in my price range in the area I want to live in. I heard you, bro. Don't make me pull rank. I'm still the oldest. And the shortest, with the least amount of hair, and even less muscle tone. Have you even heard of a gym? See, what you're not going to do is insult my trainer. Just wait till I see you. Cypress Street at 7. You can walk there from your place. Make it 6. I'm not trying to hang out all night like a 50-year-old man who thinks he's still 21. I hung up on his laugh, then fired up my laptop to tackle the mountain of emails that came with starting your own consulting firm. I already had a few contracts to finalize and invoices to email out. My assistant had just put in her notice at her current employer and wouldn't be starting for a few weeks, so I was on my own. I already couldn't wait for her to start. The desk line, which I had just discovered was plugged in and working, warbled on the corner of my desk.